All right. How's everyone doing? $55,000. Pretty good day for Bitcoin. Connection issues should be a little bit better today. A little bit. And actually, I said that I wouldn't even... Pineapple on pizza coming. I've had way too much fucking pineapple pizza lately. You guys, you put me in some weird, like, phase of craving pineapple pizza. I guess because we talk about it so much. But yeah, we got all the pineapple emojis in the comment section. Smash up the likes as we come in today, ladies and gents. Very, very good day. Audio and video is good. Thank you very much, Daniel Katz. Bitcoin at $55,600 as we speak. An all-time high. Keeps pumping. Keeps rising. This doesn't take us by surprise. None of this takes us by surprise. I actually... there have been so many VIP testimonials today that I actually don't have all of them yet. They have been forwarded to me. My assistant has given them to me. I just haven't prepared the live stream with them yet because we got so many. And this doesn't take us by surprise. Something super, super important to get into. I just want to hear from a few more people. Is the audio and video good before I get straight into this? But this doesn't take us by surprise because, ladies and gentlemen, what we were talking about yesterday was that if we end up rising above this level, I mentioned that Bitcoin still hasn't seen its really quick rallies upwards. I've been saying that a lot. Bitcoin still hasn't had its really big rallies upwards. The very, very aggressive ones where we talk about a very steep gradient of attack. And actually, we can confirm this right now, right? If we look at this gradient that Bitcoin was rising at, and then we draw this to Bitcoin's current rise, you can see that Bitcoin's current rise now is actually a lot steeper in terms of the angle that Bitcoin is rising, which is showing us that right now, Bitcoin has dialed up a lot of aggression. I don't know what the angle is here because I'm terrible at math and I had to drop out of high school, but I think this is like a 15 degree, no, this is like an 85, 75 degree angle, and this one's more like a 45, 50 degree angle. So you can quite clearly see that the aggression in this trend has something like gone up by like 1.7 times, and we are really shooting up, and we know why this is happening, right? As we're coming in, please smash up the like button as we come in, guys. I can only hear you in my right ear. That's definitely something to do with your headphones, but I've just centered my microphone there, so if it was me, it should be fixed now. But as we are coming in, please smash up the like. The likes, even very, very good day to be a trader today. And actually, like I was saying, this doesn't take us by surprise, because what we need to keep in mind today, ladies and gents, is that Bitcoin right now doesn't have any resistance. There is no technical resistance to be found on this Bitcoin chart, and crucially, nobody wants to sell their Bitcoins. So it seems like we've got some pretty interesting things going on in the comments today. Exchanges being down. Let's see if Phemex is down. Obviously, this is the main exchange that I'm using, aside from Bybit and Prime XBT. Phemex appears to be okay, so that's interesting. But anyway, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Thank you all for hitting the like button as you're coming in today. Obviously, we're all very, very excited today. And the thing is, like I said, we don't have resistance for Bitcoin right now. There is no reason to be expecting resistance the way I see it. We've cleared the big psychological number at $50,000. And not only that, we've risen up by quite a bit already. We've had our consolidation periods, right? We had this small one. And guys, I said this super clearly to you that I thought we were going to break out on this very day. If we didn't, I expected a big dump. And it happened. It went very, very well because this is based off time. This is time-based analysis. This is where we have windows of opportunity that are sometimes open and sometimes shut, and depending on what it is, the market can take some very, very nice moves to the upside. So guys, as I speak, I might actually have to take some profits on my Bitcoin position. I opened a Bitcoin position earlier today. I mentioned to you in the last video I wasn't actually going to share details of my next Bitcoin position publicly because I was saving those details for VIP, and I did do that. But background noise, yes, I will fix that in a second. I did do that, but it's now, you know, like now I'm live streaming and and the profits just keep coming in. So I do secure profits quite a lot. I'm very, very particular about this. I don't let winning positions turn into losers. This is one of the biggest reasons that I've sustained such a good streak in my trading record for the past like 6 to 9 months. It's because I might even trade the wrong direction, but I still close profits and then raise my stop loss to break even. So I think that's super, super important. And so there might be some moments in this live stream where I do need to step away and take some profits, but don't worry about it. It's not going to be a big problem. Thank you all for hitting the like button as we're coming in. Really do appreciate that. We have had a lot of problems on this channel lately, so you just tapping that one button in exchange for the 1 or 2 hours I'm going to be live for today really does help out a lot. So please go ahead and do that if you can. If you don't want to, though, obviously I understand it can be a little bit tedious. And yeah, what we have right here is just no resistance up ahead. You know, the only level that I'm seeing as potential resistance for Bitcoin right now is going to be up here at the $60,000 area, purely just a psychological resistance. You could draw Fibonacci based extensions and different things like that, but I don't think that they really apply in this market right now. And actually, I think what's really, really exciting right now is that we have something where Bitcoin is now it's rising up very, very nicely outside of these consolidation areas. So like I mentioned, with this steeper angle of attack, you know, than compared to what we had before, the steeper angle of attack, I think, does definitely mean that Bitcoin could just keep on rising and rising and rising for quite a long time now. You know, I say quite a long time, maybe just 1 or 2 days, but it's going to feel like a long time, obviously. And that's absolutely great because we're starting to return back to this kind of price action, which is, like I said to you in a previous live stream, this is what's normal in a market like this. It's moving up like this. It's moving up like, switch it over to the 4-hour time frame. Just the prophecies from FORFLIES have been so on point. I can't stop blowing my horn. I'm sorry. It's like some of you guys who are more down to earth, you're going to get really pissed off with me today, but this is what happens in a crypto market, right? We get this kind of euphoria. These kind of moves, these are what's typical in a bull market like what we're in right now. And we've resumed that today very, very well. So the fact that we've resumed it tells me that this could go up very, very nicely now. And also the other thing to keep in mind, which I've kept on saying to you, but I'm going to say it to you again one final time now, because now you know that it was correct, is that we've had these really long-term, relatively long-term sort of consolidation pullback areas. You know, this pullback lasted 19 days, and from this all-time high until the day that we broke it, it lasted 31 days. So we've had quite long-term corrections in the trend, whether they were time-based corrections or price-based corrections. We've had quite serious ones. And what we did over here, this is really, really important to keep in mind. So actually, I'm going to draw this for you super clearly now so that there's no room for misinterpretation here. There's no room for misunderstanding. We went out of one of these time and price-based corrections into another one, and then into another one, and this is why I think that the trend should be so bullish right now, because we went straight out of a big one into a slightly smaller one, into a slightly smaller one, and now we've got that real rocket ship up. And this is exactly the kind of rocket ship formation that we had way back over here, where it catapulted Bitcoin from $39,000 to $48,000 in the space of like a day or two. So I think that we're looking at something quite similar now. This was what, let's just measure this really quickly. You guys are going to get so excited by this, but don't worry, I'm going to tell you why I think that this trend could be bearish as well, because as a trader and as an analyst, it is my job to analyze both directions. Even though I'm heavily biased to the upside, I'm even trading the upside, I still have to be aware of the other side. So while you get excited and the noobs start getting a little bit of a chubby here, let's calm ourselves down. But I do need to mention this because this is important to the analysis. If we do rise up from if we do get a similar rise to what we had last time, which would be plus 21% from here, that is going to put Bitcoin all the way up just above $60,000 to $61,000, and I think that's very, very bullish for the price action right here. I'm seeing a lot of comments about Binance being down right now, and actually, guys, if you are looking for a platform that's a little bit more reliable than Binance, Phemex actually has a lot less downtime than Binance. They're also not disgustingly shady like Binance is, so if you like knowing that your money is in a safer place, Phemex might actually be a better option for you. So there's a link in the description where you'll get some free money to play with. And worst case scenario, guys, you've been hearing me say this for months, right? I always say it's good to have a backup exchange. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. You're playing with serious money, and one day your exchange is going to go down and you're not going to have anywhere to trade when you really want to. Someone else said KuCoin is disabling withdrawals. Of course they are. They're shit exchanges. And so it's good to have backups. I've got multiple accounts on almost every single exchange, and it's all to make sure that if anything gets hacked or anything has downtime or there's just some issue, that I don't get affected by it. And so I think that's really, really important. If you do want to get in on an exchange that I consider to be a little bit more reliable, then there's Phemex in the description, which you can get some sign-up bonuses with, and also Bybit, which I think are very, very good. I was actually using Bybit today, so they're both great options to be considering. Right here, they're going back to the price. Actually, I'm just going to step away for a second and kill all this background noise. Please hit the like button while I'm gone. I'll come back in just a minute. Alright, that should be a little bit better. Why is Binance so shady? Binance, I'm not going to go into it right now. That's something we'll talk about at the end of the live stream. It's most of you guys, you won't even notice it, but I did, because I think nothing will happen to our funds. Yeah, most likely nothing will happen to your money. That's not really the point. The point is there might be a time where you want to trade and you can't because the exchange is down, and that's a very bad reason to not be in a trade, because you could have prevented that issue by just having backups, by spreading your eggs out into multiple baskets. And people who only have one exchange account, they don't buy themselves that luxury, and I think that's it's stupid. Like I don't know why you would put all your money in one place, especially in a crypto market. You know, like there's no right. Yeah, right there, J Pow in the comments. I was in Quadriga CX in Canada, lost all my coins in 2018. Shady as fuck. Find a good exchange. There you go. Look, you don't keep all your money on one exchange. It's just not a good practice. It's not safe. It doesn't matter if Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. You know, the big guys can come down. You know, that doesn't really insulate you from having a problem. And so having backups is absolutely essential. And if you're not going to use Phemex, you don't need to use Phemex. I'm just telling you Phemex is good, and I've used it myself. You can find, you know, hundreds if you just Google it. So there's a lot of options out there. But anyway, coming right back to the price action. Look, the thing is, there's just no resistance on this chart right now, and the fact that Bitcoin has now come out of these multiple consolidation ranges, and, you know, crucially in my opinion, the fact that it's now broken out above this big psychological resistance number at $50,000, I think means that there's just not much reason for Bitcoin to move slowly anymore. You know, previously, I think that a lot of the reason that Bitcoin couldn't really move quickly at this time was because we didn't overcome the crucial resistance area of $50,000. This was a level that a lot of people had their heads, were scratching their heads at. This is obviously where a lot of people were selling off their Bitcoins, and you guys will remember I said that I thought this pump would be the one that takes us up, and it did, so that worked out very, very well. Shout out to you guys who were subscribed to the YouTube channel, because you would have seen exactly what was going on over there. You would have had full notice and analysis on my thoughts right there, and you would have been expecting that pump just like I did. But what we have now is no big fat psychological numbers ahead of us. I mean, the next big one that I see is potentially $60,000, but come on, you and I both know that 60 isn't as impressive as 50 as a number. 60 is just a stepping stone to 75 or 90 or $100,000. And so we go to the title and thumbnail. You know, if you think that Bitcoin will keep on pumping, then I think that there's some really, really good space for Bitcoin to blow past levels like $6,000, pump all the way up to levels like 75, and then potentially even look at the really, really big levels like $100,000. And I think that's super, super important. Ethereum right here, so close to that $2,000 level that I've been saying for a very long time, that I was almost completely certain that Ethereum would end up hitting $2,000 and actually going way past it. Ladies and gents, if Bitcoin is going to go up to some levels like 75k and then just trade sideways for even a day, I think that's going to send Ethereum shooting up to levels like $2,500. So definitely keep your eyes locked on these coins. I think there's so many amazing opportunities showing up in this market right now, and it definitely would be a very big shame if you were you were just not aware of them. And it makes for a very, very fertile trading range. It makes for something that's very predictable, because what we need to keep in mind in ranges like this, when you know, it is price discovery, we have never traded in these kind of price areas before, is that psychology plays such a big part in this market. And if you've seen this kind of thing happening before, then, and if you've actually analyzed it and taken notes, then you're actually in a very, very good position to take great advantage of what's happening in this market. What I mentioned inside of VIP today, let me actually get you guys the screenshot of it right now, is that Bitcoin has just broken out of a crucial range that I was looking at with VIPs for a very, very long time. I'm just pulling up the screenshot for you as I speak. And that to me meant that Bitcoin could end up seeing some very nice rises in the short term. This is exactly the post that I put in VIP how long ago? 7 hours ago, I think, if my math is correct. As mentioned before, I think Bitcoin could rise up to $60,000 soon. Since Bitcoin has just broken above the all-time high from yesterday, I think that move could happen quite soon. As such, I will be entering a long position on Bitcoin if it falls back down to the 52k level, and if we zoom in onto something a little bit smaller like the 5-minute time frame, we did do that. So the chart that I shared, actually, let me show you that chart. The chart was right here. This is just showing you how predictable these markets become with these kind of pullbacks. You know, a lot of the time people wouldn't have expected it, but this pink this pink paintbrush tool is the same one that I have on this chart right here. It's just a little bit you know, the time frame that I showed it at was a little bit longer, but I mentioned we'd kind of, you know, we're in this range, we'd kind of drop down into this box and then pump back up, and this green box was just the previous all-time high at 52,400 roughly. So there was nothing significant about this green box other than the fact that it was the previous all-time high. And the reason that I drew the green box over here, now we're talking about trading stuff, by the way, so if this doesn't interest you, if you just want to, you know, be excited by big numbers, then this part isn't for you. But if you're a real trader, this is going to be super informative for you. This is the kind of content that only goes in VIP, but let's just talk about it for a minute. The reason that I drew the green box right over here instead of lower is because right now I expected that this trend would be in a very, very aggressive upward stance, and so I wouldn't expect any pullbacks to go deeper than this box. I wouldn't expect the pullbacks to go deeper than this box, and so originally my stop loss was somewhere around over here, because I just wouldn't expect that Bitcoin would go down this low, because right now I would just expect that the pullbacks would be quite shallow, and this was a shallow pullback. If we measure it from the high to the low that Bitcoin set, it only fluctuated down by 1.1%, and so this was quite a shallow pullback, and that's exactly what I was expecting, because there's no resistance up ahead, as I keep on saying. And when there's no resistance up ahead, the market is very, very subject to get very excited very quickly. And that's why I mentioned this inside of VIP. I'd be going long at 52,350. Where did we fall to? Just below that. So actually this order didn't fill properly on Bybit, which I was using, so I followed up in VIP and mentioned that I entered a little bit higher, I don't know, like $100 or $200 higher, which is completely fine obviously at this point, and gave some information on my stop losses, which have now been changed. And obviously, as usual, I give VIP members the full real-time updates on how I changed, how I updated those positions. Then I give them a few reasons for why I'm entering this trade and a few reasons for why I shouldn't, and also some other notes on the trade and a little bit of information on the kind of allocation I'll be using. And I just also, while I'm here, I want to give you some quick examples of you know, how I'm updating information on my trades, because over here I mentioned that I actually don't have any targets for this trade on Bitcoin right here, and I later did set a target. So here's the post I put in VIP where I showed the target, sorry, where I was going to be closing some positions. Actually, I haven't downloaded the chart here, but I mentioned that my position is currently at a beautiful 40% profit. I don't know what it's at now, maybe like 50%. I decided to close 10% of my position here. I'm also moving half of my stop loss to my entry, and even considering moving the entire stop loss to my entry. So if you don't know what this kind of stuff means, if you don't know how I would be doing this, and you would need to watch me do it, then don't worry about that, because we have a lot of content for people like you inside of VIP. And if you want to jump into the group, I've been mentioning, I said it just yesterday that I was going to be trading the trend very soon, and here we are right now. VIP members have seen me doing it. Very, very beautiful message that I got from this VIP member right here. 1k realized profit today, and another 3,000 that he just hasn't locked in yet, but still very, very impressive. The first two trades I'd already planned in small positions yesterday before sending him my, well, I didn't send it to him, I put it in VIP, gave him a little bit more confidence, and bam, 427%. So pretty damn impressive. I don't know what leverage he used here. Obviously it wasn't safe, but all the power to him anyway, because he's done very, very well. No worries. Happy to be part of it all with you, Sammy, and the team. Big ups, guys. Thank you very much. This guy doing absolutely amazing since he joined VIP. So there's a lot of very, very flashy success stories inside of the group right now. And if you want to jump into VIP and see how these people have been able to pull these profits, then the good news for you is that my assistant is here right now. I think she's even watching the live stream right now. So if you do want to gain access to the information on VIP, then you can follow these steps on screen right now. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP. This whole process from start to finish will take you less than 30 seconds. You can just pause the live stream right here and go ahead and do it. My assistant is here. She's actually just responded to a few of you, to one of you, just like right now. So if you do want the information, then you can find out how to get it by following these steps on the screen right now. But moving back to the live stream here, just to show you how predictable Bitcoin has been, we are getting these really nice pullbacks that are triggering these big pumps up. And this is what's exciting to me, because you know, we didn't get a strong pullback, and I think that's what's really important to keep in mind. I already told you why we didn't get a strong pullback, which is basically that there's no resistance up ahead. The market is very easily excitable, and that's why, you know, just a 1% drawdown is enough to trigger. I mean, let's just actually calculate how big this rally has been from the low to the high. We drew down by 1%, and that gave us enough juice to rise up by 6.5%. So I think that really tells you quite a lot about where the strength is in this trend right now, and that's definitely very, very impressive. So this kind of thing is very, very important to keep in mind, where it's not taking a lot to impress Bitcoin holders. You know, we don't need to retrace by big amounts in order for the bulls to think that this is enough, and in order for the bears to back off. And that, to me, is a big, big bullish sign. So to see that this rally moved up very, very quickly, no surprise. That's why I entered my long position, and I'm definitely very, very happy with how it's playing out so far. I do want to comment on this dump right now, because a few people have been talking about it in the comment section. We are getting a small pullback right now, but just to put it into perspective, in case anyone is panicking, this is only a drop of right now 1.8%, 2%. So this is not a big deal compared to the rise that we've already seen, and I would expect that we just kind of fall down to areas of support, which actually we didn't really establish any on the way up. But and the reason we didn't establish any is because we didn't trade sideways, right? The most sideways trading we had was probably around over here or around here with this mini ascending triangle. So there's not a lot that Bitcoin can find support at unless it comes right back down to this level over here, which obviously I wouldn't want it to do. So I'm not so sure, but I do expect that it should stop relatively soon and carry on higher, because again, as I was saying, I mean, there is a lot of bullish sentiment right here, in my opinion, and I think that does mean things could be very, very sparkly for this market. It could mean that things recover quite quickly. So I'm sorry, I need to take a sip of water. Thank you all for tuning in today, ladies and gents. We did have one small connection issue just now, but I don't think any of you noticed. And yeah, overall connection is much better. Please smash up the likes as you're coming in today. It does help the channel out a lot. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, we've had some pretty nasty, annoying problems on this channel lately. With you know, viewers, subscribers not getting notified of these live streams and different things like that. So it's very helpful to me. It's just a click to you, and if you think that that click is worth however many hours we're going to spend on this live today, then I'd appreciate if you can go ahead and hit that like button, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Oops. Just hit my tooth there. Let me pull up my notes, make sure I haven't missed anything with Bitcoin. Let's see what else we've got here. Bitcoin new all-time high. Kumo support. Yes, doing very, very well with the Ichimokus. Yeah, and actually, yeah, I think now is the time where I start talking a little bit about potential worst-case scenarios for Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do now is, I've already shown you why this pink line was so damn impressive. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this pink line. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where support might be, because yes, Bitcoin can still crash down. Obviously, there is always that possibility. And if Bitcoin does kind of drop down now over the next kind of Yeah, 2 days, 1 or 2 days. I think that it could definitely find some support right at this level where we previously topped out and then found support. I think it could act as support again. And the great thing here is that we're getting a confluence now. The Ichimoku cloud also lines up with this level in a couple of days. So if you do end up pulling back to this level, I think that would make a lot of sense with this trend. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And so that is something that I'm going to keep my eyes on. With the momentum on this chart, I mean, we've made very, very good use of it on the 4-hour time frame. It's been absolutely spectacular. It's been so reliable ever since the spread came on, which was roughly around over here. This indicator has had a 100% success rate. So I'm really excited with that. Very, very happy with the fact that this EMA ribbon has helped Bitcoin a lot. And right now it does paint Bitcoin's worst case scenario as potentially coming back down to retest the $50,000 level, which, to be honest, it wouldn't be too bad. Obviously, I wouldn't like that to happen, but that's only a 10% drop. Where is it? Yeah, it's only about a 9-10% drop from where we are right now. So, you know, I don't think that's too bad. I think that would actually be pretty healthy for the trend. And so, I mean, I am seeing some potential supports over there, but actually on a more larger time frame, which I don't think is relevant yet, but I think it's worth looking at because we haven't done this for a while. On a much larger time frame, we do now have some really good support at the $42,000 level. And actually, I think that if Bitcoin does get a big crash soon, and obviously this is always possible with Bitcoin, right? So let's not get too excited by the hype right now. It's always possible for Bitcoin to get really big crashes. I think that if we do, I think that $42,000, this red line right here, it could turn out to be a very important level for Bitcoin. And the reason that I think that this level could be very important is there's two reasons. Number one, there's three. Number one, we set an all-time high at $42,000. So historically, it's just significant because this was just a level that caused a major reversal in the market. Number two, not only did it cause a major reversal, it also caused a relatively long-term reversal, right? This reversal lasted 19 days and 31 days until we broke it. So, you know, previously, you know, we would set all-time highs like over here, and it, you know, it would send us down by quite a lot. I don't know, this was like a 20% drop from high to low, something like that. But we recovered it in literally 3 days. So it wasn't a long-term reversal that this all-time high caused. You know, we set an all-time high right here at $24,000, and we just hovered at this level and broke out of it like 5 days later, right? So these were not significant all-time high reversal points, but 42 was. Not only did we set an all-time high, we also had a long-term and deep correction from it. And number three, and this is probably, I'd say this is not the most important, but this is still something that most people wouldn't consider. Number three, as soon as we broke this level, the price absolutely shot up. It massively pumped up. And actually, let's just put this into perspective. On that same day when we broke this red line, how much higher did we go? Let's just calculate this really quickly. Bitcoin went up by a further 10% on the same day that it broke this red line. So I think that really tells us a little bit about the power that this line has. If we get rejected from it, we're looking at big minus 30% corrections. If we pump above it, we're looking at really big price rallies, because actually since we broke out of this level up to our current price right now, we've risen up by 30%. I know that might not sound like a lot to you, you know, like 30% on $500 or whatever isn't actually a very sexy number, but this is bloody insane, and it's happened inside of 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks later, we've made a plus 30% gain on Bitcoin. So this very much is an extremely important level in my opinion. And if we talk about worst case scenarios where Bitcoin can really correct by a lot, it can drop by a lot in just 1 day, which, you know, look, I'm in a long position right now. I'm in like more than 40% profit. I want this to keep rising up, but my job is to analyze the worst case scenarios and be prepared for them. And the fact is, Bitcoin can dump like this pink drawing suggests. You know, it can dump really quickly, really suddenly, right? Nobody expected this dump to happen, but look at how quickly it happened. Within 4 days, Bitcoin went from a high of $42,000 to a low of $30,000. That is a $12,000 correction, a minus 30% drop. Look at this, a minus 28% drop inside of 4 days. And so Bitcoin absolutely has the potential to make a catastrophic pullback like this. And actually, to be fair, it wouldn't even be that bad. This would be a minus 23% drop from our current high to the low over here, which would be $42,000. It would be a 24% correction. And if it happens over the next month or so, that would also put us in this daily Ichimoku support. And so I think it's very, very important that Ichimoku support is just reaching there now towards the end of March. If Bitcoin does enter some sort of bear market, I think that there's a lot of support that we can expect to find over there. I don't think we're going to do that anytime soon, but if we do, we really need to keep these things in consideration, and I think it's worth talking about it now anyway. We also see the exact same thing with our daily exponential moving average ribbon. If you don't know what this is, then you can watch my tutorial on it by typing this into YouTube. Pause this live stream now, type this into YouTube, and you can find my video on the exponential moving average ribbon. I explain it fully. I show you how to get it. I show you how I use it, what it means, how to use it safely, different things like that. It's a full video. It's part of our wider FORFLIES Academy course, which some VIP members get for free depending on their plan. And if you want to ask me about the details on that, you can gain access to it by following these steps on screen. As I've been saying, by the way, VIP right now is at the cheapest price it's ever been, and that's because Bitcoin has risen up so much, so we've actually cut our prices by much more than 50%. So if you want to get in on the action and see exactly what's going on, then the steps to join are in the link below the like button. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on send message if you want to get some more information on VIP or our course. And like I said, this EMA video is part of our FORFLIES Academy course, and the same for the Ichimoku cloud. So if you've just been listening for the past few minutes and you don't know what the Ichimoku cloud is, then type this as you see it into the YouTube search bar, and you can watch my tutorial on this indicator as well. Again, another free video from our FORFLIES Academy course. But right here, got some really nice support on this daily exponential moving average ribbon, which has absolutely saved the trend previously, by the way. I mean, just beautifully saved the trend over here. This is like the beauty this has, in my opinion, like in order to convey to you how impressed I am by this. This is like somebody falling asleep at the wheel of their car, or even worse, they're getting like a seizure while they're driving their car, and then they wake up and recover from it. That's how impressive I see this recovery. And so I think that, you know, this absolutely could turn into another very useful indicator in the near future if we need it. Hopefully we won't, but if we do, it's there, and it's there at a very important level. So I am definitely very happy with how this is looking right now. Let me take a look at some of the other indicators to make sure I'm not missing anything. Thank you all for smashing up the like button as we're coming in here. If you have enjoyed this live stream at all so far, we're about half an hour in. If you found any of it useful, anything interesting or funny or whatever, please hit up the likes once again. Let's see what else we're getting with the indicators. Oh, a very nice wedge. Oh god, oh wow, I've got to show this to you. This is beautiful. Okay, I've got to show this to you. Take a look at this. Wow, take a look at this. So there's a very nice wedge right here, which is just a further look. It's good to look for multiple signs that confirm the same thing. If they are there, you're in luck. And right there, look at this. We had this big rising wedge. I was talking to you about this for a very long time, about how actually typically these are quite bullish patterns for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin tends to break out of them. I said it literally when the price was over here. So if you guys have been subscribed to this channel for just a matter of like 3 or 4 days, you'll know exactly what I was saying here. You don't need to be subscribed for a long time to have heard what I said about this, and because I talk about it all the time. But I mentioned that the trend will move up quickly, then it will move up slowly, which is this area, and then it'll pump up again as well, just the same as it was before. So look, moving up slowly now, moving up quickly here, then slowly, and then quickly again. So we're doing the same thing right now. And what's even better about this is that as we pumped up, you know, we previously used this area as resistance pretty well. It was pretty good resistance, pretty stable, pretty useful resistance, and pretty good support down here as well. So this wedge overall was respected very well. And we not only came back down to test the previous all-time high over here, and then over here, and then over here again. This is where I entered my long position. We also, and I didn't even see this until like 5 seconds ago, we also just came back down to test the resistance of this rising wedge. So this is super impressive in my opinion. It doesn't really get much better than this, where on multiple different time frames with multiple different indicators and multiple different ways of doing analysis, Bitcoin has confirmed the same thing. It really doesn't get much better than that in terms of looking for something that's accurate and useful in terms of confirming certain price action. And again, I think that makes the argument for Bitcoin to pump up much more convincing, because truthfully, you know, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have resistance up ahead. There's no technical reason to be expecting resistance up ahead. It's just psychological. And actually, while we're talking about that, I think now is the time for me to blow up my camera and get some real talk with you guys, because I'm about to tell you something that a lot of you guys probably won't like, but if you don't like it, that means you need to hear it even more. And it is the possibilities of Bitcoin potentially seeing some quite big drops and how that would happen, because I think it's really important right now. We're 40 minutes into the live stream. Thank you all for your likes. I think it's really important right now to acknowledge how the market might drop. And again, for the few, it's probably just the exception, but for the few people who are going to think I'm a perma bear right now, I'm in a long position on Bitcoin right now. If Bitcoin goes up, I make more money. So I actively, like, there's nothing I can do that's more real than putting my money behind the idea of Bitcoin going up. However, I need to be aware of how this can all reverse and the market can start crashing. And the main way that the market can start crashing right now, in my opinion, going off my experience, is that right now everything's super, super rosy. Everything's really exciting. Everyone loves what's going on right now. But right now, what we have, and this is undeniable, I'm going to show it to you really quickly. 1 second. Listen to those Lambos behind me. I love it. What we have right here on this chart is volume is not peaking very high. It did peak recently. It did peak like today, but overall volume has not been going very, very high while Bitcoin has continued to rise. And the reason that that's typically considered to be bearish and a bad sign in these markets is because it doesn't mean that it means that there's not actually a lot of people buying in this market right now. And I think that's really important to keep in mind. There is definitely a lot of buying action happening overall. That is undeniable. A lot of people are buying, a lot of people are interested, but it's a lot less than you probably think. And I've just shown you why by looking at the volume. So if you don't believe me, just pause the live stream now and look at the volume on any chart and compare it to what happened in 2017. And you will see very clearly right now that the volume is way lower than it was in the previous uptrends. And what that means here, this is super, super important to understand. What that means here is if volume isn't high, but the prices keep on rising, it just means that nobody wants to sell. And if nobody wants to sell, it's not necessarily that the market is super, super bullish. You know, it's one thing if the market rises because no one wants to sell. That you can almost argue is artificial. You know, let's say you've got a community in, I don't know, Texas. By the way, Texas has snow. El Paso, crazy, it has snow. Anyway, if you didn't know that, now you do. We'll take some random copy-paste community in Texas, grid layout, typical American city, but it's all owned by one guy. And if that one guy chooses to only sell each house at you know, like $100,000 higher than the previous price he sold a house at, the overall value of that community is going to look extremely high, but no one might actually be buying it. You know, he might only make, out of 1,000 houses, maybe only 5 of them get bought in 1 year, and all of a sudden that would make all 1,000 houses look really, really expensive, whereas in reality no one even bought them. And that's exactly what's happening right here with Bitcoin. This is super important to understand. It is not that there are a massive influx of people rushing in to buy, and the institutions and Bill Gates and any other rich guy you can name drop right now to inflate your ego and excite you. It is not that these people are buying here. We need to get that straight. It is just that people are not selling. And so again, if you've got a huge collection of cars and you know, like it's some vintage Mercedes, it's really, really cool. It's like the DeLorean. There's 500 of them, and in the past 10 years, only 2 of them have been sold at a very high price. It's going to make it look like the rest of those DeLoreans or whatever are super expensive, but in reality, they haven't even been sold. And so the market hasn't moved that much. It's just the last traded price is super high because no one has moved volumes yet. None of these people who own 500 DeLoreans have tried to sell 10 at a time. As soon as they do, they would see that the market crashes. And that's super important because that establishes level 1 of what, the first aspect of how this market can crash, which in my opinion is that it's on thin ice right now. It's not actually pumping up because of massive buy pressure. It's pumping up because there's no sell pressure. And those are two different things. If there's a lot of buy pressure, that's super impressive. That's really, really cool. But if there's not a lot of sell pressure, that's not sustainable because eventually sell pressure will come back, right? Eventually sell pressure will come back. It's not like it stays like this forever where no one wants to sell forever. What triggers people to want to sell? In a market like this, where everything right now is super rosy, the only thing that makes people want to sell is... Can we just drop it in the comments if any of you guys know? I'll just give you like 5 seconds. Do you know what causes people to sell in a market like this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One of you guys will comment it. The word is panic. It's only panic. If panic hits the market, that's when you get these really big sell-offs. And that could be... Look, if you read the headlines of Bitcoin right now and you look at what's going on, you just type in Bitcoin and you go to the news or whatever, you'll see that there's not actually anything that's particularly bearish or concerning about Bitcoin. Everyone's saying good things about it right now, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing bad happening in the space right now. Panic, fear, yeah, exactly, same thing. So you two have got it. Shout out to minimal spiritualism and Bart. And then yeah, when the price drops, fear, there you go, same thing, right? So there's going to be one fat-fingered seller, somebody with a lot of money who just sells a lot of Bitcoin, and then some news hits, because like I said, there hasn't been any bearish news happening in the Bitcoin space lately. Do you think that means there's nothing bad happening? Because there used to be a lot of bearish articles. There used to be a lot of bad events in the crypto space. How come it's just all magically suspended now? You know, like obviously we're not that stupid. We know that the media isn't truthful and things like that. It very much is a case of these headlines are just being withdrawn. They're being kept back until it's ready to release those floodgates. And, you know, the bigger players start selling off. They start inciting some panic. One big seller ends up selling a bunch of Bitcoin, selling all of his Bitcoin into the market. Now there's 3 bearish headlines in the market. Now Joe, who bought at $50,000 because he's a fucking idiot. Sorry to anyone who bought at these levels. It's just an example. You know, maybe you're not an idiot. Actually, if you bought at $50,000, you'd be in a 10% profit right now. So that's pretty good. But the point is, you know, Joe, who bought at 50k or whatever, now he's going to start panicking, and Tim, who's over leveraged in a long position, is also going to start panicking, and the only way they can close these positions is by going short on Bitcoin, so the whole price just crashes. And that is super, super important to keep in mind, because we haven't seen that yet, and I think that means it's coming. I told you the same thing yesterday. Right, just yesterday, I told you that we haven't seen any extreme price action like this on Bitcoin for a while. Since the 8th and 9th of February is the last time we saw this. And I mentioned that we should be getting this because this kind of price action that we're in right now is what is normal in a market like this. This and this is normal in a market like this. And I said that the fact over here that we didn't get this yet, the fact that we didn't get this yet, to me was an indication that it just didn't come yet. It's not like the market is changing. It's not like what is normal isn't normal anymore. No, not at all. To me, this just meant the fact that we didn't get this kind of pump yet, it just meant that it didn't come yet. And I'm saying the same thing about this as well. The fact that we haven't seen any big bearish headlines that have all come at the same time with one fat-fingered seller or whatever, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that it hasn't happened yet. It's a case of when, not if. I'm saying this with a lot of confidence right now because I've seen this happen a million times. This kind of thing wouldn't take me by surprise. Almost nothing does take me by surprise right now because psychology just keeps on repeating. It's so damn predictable. And if you know what to look for, like I said, that's where you really start tapping into some of the magic in trading. That's where you become someone like this right here who just pulled 427% profit. And actually, there are some more screenshots. I didn't even load them all up, but here's another one. Look at this. This one's really, really cool. This guy, he paid off, he bought a house with his VIP earnings. This one I've shown you quite a few times, but I want to highlight this one right here. Plus 105% profit on a long position on Bitcoin. Bro, you're a fucking hero. Very, very happy for this person's progress. Doing very, very well. So just very, very nice results inside of VIP. Another guy over here actually who traded, actually this message came from the same guy who made this 427% profit. He's saying over here that he pulled another 47% profit on EOS. We've been doing a little bit of analysis on EOS lately inside of VIP. You guys with these live streams, you didn't hear me talking about that, but we have been posting about it inside of VIP. So this guy, again, doing very, very well. If you want to get these insights, you want to hear them happening in real time, you want to watch them happening in real time, then the steps to join VIP are on screen right now. But we take it back to the point that I was making right here, and it is that we haven't seen this kind of panic. I'm going to leave this on screen for you for just a minute because my assistant is here. She is replying to your inquiries as we go along. I think like 10 of you have already inquired, something like that, and she's already sent you the information. She's really, really good, by the way, and actually we brought her on the team, I don't know, like 2.5 weeks ago. And I know it's only been about she knew nothing about trading, never traded, didn't know what was going on, didn't know how to send or receive Bitcoin. I put her in our advanced course, and inside of 2 weeks, inside of 2.5 weeks, she now knows nearly everything. And this is somebody who is young, you know, not like 40 years old or something with a lot of life experience or whatever. Someone who's like me, young, naive, whatever. I'm sorry, you're not naive, but you know, just a normal person going into our content, learning quite a lot. So I love it when I see it. And like I said, this is the only thing I'm cocky about, but I say it with 100% confidence. We've got the best content out there. If you want to learn how to trade, you want to get an understanding of how these kind of things work, you want to learn everything, all the ins and outs from A all the way to Z. And if you want to watch me implementing what I do in real time, like VIP members saw today when I made my trade, which is currently, as I said, somewhere like probably about a 50% profit right now. VIP members got all the details on that from the phase where I was considering it to when I entered it, to when I changed my plan, to when I updated my stop loss and took profits. All of that information went inside of VIP. So very, very impressive results we've seen over the last little bit in this market. But taking it back to the point of these big crashes, we need to be aware of this because they will happen. They will always happen. They always come. And it's at times like this where they start looking impossible, but we haven't seen it yet. And that makes me think it will come. I do fully think that Bitcoin will keep rising before that happens. I think that Bitcoin might end up hitting something like $60,000. But the point is, I'm now being very, very cautious of it because we have risen by quite a lot. We haven't seen anything like that for quite a long time. It might mean that we don't see anything like this until Bitcoin reaches something like $70,000, $80,000, or it might happen right now. I don't know, and that's why my job here is to be prepared, because this kind of thing that I've just warned you about is super unpredictable. You know, this bearish headline event that I'm talking about with one really big seller right at the top, this can happen at any time. You know, I mean, we've seen it. If you've been in the market for longer than a year or two, you've seen it happen all the time. It's just completely unpredictable pumps. You wake up, sorry, dumps. You wake up one day and Bitcoin's just dropped by like 10-20%, and you're scratching your head thinking, what the fuck just happened? Because it doesn't make any sense. And then you look at the headlines, oh, there's bearish news, China's banning Bitcoin again, India's banning Bitcoin again, and JP Morgan says it's going to go down, and Berkshire Hathaway is talking shit about it. And so, you know, then you start seeing, okay, there are some headlines here. You know, there's one big sell that happens a couple minutes before the end, the CNBC headline or whatever, and you start to picture, all right, there's a little bit of manipulation going on here. We haven't seen it yet, and the same thing that I mentioned before is I just think that means that it's going to come soon. The fact that we haven't seen it, I don't think that means we're not going to get it. I just think that means it's been delayed. So the way it'll start is, first of all, are we on thin ice? Yes or no? Yes, we are, in my opinion, because no one's actually buying Bitcoin as much as you think. People are, and a lot of people are, but not as much as you think. And so actually it's just that sellers are not selling Bitcoin. And as soon as they do decide to sell Bitcoin, that's going to require a little bit of panic, a little bit of fear, some market manipulation, news, a big sell order that takes Bitcoin down by 20%. Because actually the next aspect that you need to consider is that, go back to the chart now. If you do want the information on VIP, just pause the video and you can get these steps. But the next aspect that you need to consider about this is that people are only buying Bitcoin right now, broadly speaking, because it's really sexy and it makes them think that they can make money. And I think that is really, really important to keep in mind, because as soon as it starts looking a little bit less sexy and Bitcoin ends up dropping by like 10-20%, that's going to trigger a lot of panic. And if people are only buying Bitcoin because it's rising, and if people are only withdrawing, selling because it's rising, then as soon as that rising element is taken out of the picture, now you have people who wanted to sell and don't have a reason to not sell anymore. These people, they don't have a reason to hold on to their Bitcoins anymore because it's not rising anymore. And you have people who are only buying because it was rising. Those people who are supporting the market up, they've also been removed. So now you've got a classic setup for the market to absolutely waterfall downwards, and it does happen at times where it's most unpredictable. So please keep that in mind. I know that it's not exciting, but that's trading, you know. I mean, we're not here to be excited. Obviously we do get excited, it's just a byproduct of the game, but we're not here for that. We're here to get rich and make money, and that means we need to be realistic. So I think that's something really important to keep in mind. Ladies and gents, if you are enjoying this live stream, please smash up the like button as we're going along. We're up to 400 likes with 800 viewers, so we're still not getting the kind of viewership that a channel like this should be achieving, and it is because we're shadow banned. Every time you like the video, I promise you it helps so much. I hate saying it as much as you hate hearing it all the time. I know it's very annoying, but I wouldn't be doing these live stream if it doesn't reach the viewers that it should be reaching, and a lot of you guys have reported that you don't even get notified when these live streams happen. So you just clicking the like button does help out so much. If you found that useful, if you found that interesting, and you want me to give you more information like this, then please do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button as well. I'm going to start going through your questions very soon. As usual, please tag me in the live chat like this. I've just put it in the comment section. Tag me like this so that you can guarantee that I read your comments, because if you don't tag me, I'm just going to assume that your comment is a random, you know, comment and it's not actually a question, and if it's not a question, I won't read it because there's too many questions. I'm gonna start from the top. I haven't even finished my core analysis. I'm gonna get to that a little bit. I just got a very interesting text, so I'm probably gonna be wrapping up the stream relatively soon, but I'm gonna go through some questions and then finish off my core analysis, then some questions again. We'll try and go through it quickly because I've got some business to get to, and then we kind of we'll take it from there. So let me start from the top. What is my target for Bitcoin? I don't have a target for Bitcoin, but I think $100,000 is super achievable because we already broke the psychological resistance at 50k, and the next big psychological number I see is, yeah, it's like 75 or 100. FORFLIES, love the streams, my man. Thank you very much. What do you think a bottom could be for this bull run? 30k would make sense. 42k, like I showed you earlier on in the live stream, would make a lot of sense in my opinion as well, and that's definitely a level that I'm looking at. Also, where do I speculate our bottom could be in the next bear market? I have no idea about that. I really couldn't say. Can I please do some TA on the Bitcoin Ethereum chart? Absolutely, good question. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Ethereum. I'm sorry, it's ETH BTC, isn't it? Let's use the Binance chart. Yeah, that's all right. And yeah, so Ethereum has been losing a lot of strength against Bitcoin lately, and I think that's only because Bitcoin is now in big uptrend mode. You know, Bitcoin right now is up by 6%. It was 7% a couple minutes ago. Ethereum only up by 0.5%. This is when Bitcoin is really on the move. Ethereum will lose some power against Bitcoin, but as soon as that, you know, big uptrend kind of situation stops and it reverses or it pauses, that's where Ethereum tends to regain a lot of its traction. So I think absolutely that this is only temporary. I think that it might end up finding support somewhere, although I'm not going to speculate where that is. But as soon as Bitcoin stops fully uptrending and it takes a little bit of a breather, I think Ethereum is going to have a chance to absolutely rocket ship up. And, you know, like I said, Ethereum is one of those coins, I think, where it absolutely could just melt through, I don't even think melt is the right word, it could just blow through $2,000, just teleport straight up to 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 the first day that it crosses $2,000. I think it really has that kind of potential, and I think a lot of it does depend on the kind of trend with Bitcoin. So thank you for asking me to analyze that. S. Taylor, FORFLIES, you did say this, you were so accurate and realistic. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, Taylor. It's my absolute pleasure. That's why I like doing these live streams. I get an ego rush when I know how correct I was. I'm a young guy, and I turn out to be pretty good at this, so you can see the kind of ego rush I get from this. FORFLIES the man, thank you very much. Institutions, but less retail now buying. Absolutely. I mean, you know, you really think rich people are buying at these levels? Come on, you know. These are people with big dreams to turn $100 into $1 million. Come on, let's be serious. No one smart is buying at these levels. This is fucking crazy. But that's the point. It's not, that's, with this exception, there are actually more buyers here, but with this exception, it's not actually that there's a lot of people buying, it's just that there's not many people selling. Dwayne saying, demand is high and supply is low, hence high cost sellers market. Yeah, I'd actually go as far as saying that demand being high, demand is higher than supply, obviously, that's why the price is rising, but the main point is that supply is low, and I think that's, obviously you need, like, you can't have one without the other, but the fact that supply is low is much more so the reason that Bitcoin is rising up, instead of the fact that demand is high. That is why we have FORFLIES to take away our panic. Absolutely. I can't remember the last time I panicked in a market. In fact, I remember when we got, you guys remember that really big crash from like 10K to 3K in like 2 days? What was it? I remember when we got that crash, I didn't even panic at that. What happened over here, I needed to do some car repairs on this dump right here, this really big one. I needed to do some car repairs. I was at Halfords. Shout out to anyone in the UK, you know what a Halfords is? It's like our little car repair shop for bicycle kit and whatever, just, you know, for guys. And I saw this. I needed something for my car because I was about to, I don't know, I think I was going to drive to Scotland the next day or something. And yeah, I remember. No, I think it was because I was about to leave to Europe. When did this happen? Oh no, I don't remember actually. I was about to do some road trip. I needed some new number plates or something. I saw this on my phone. I saw that Bitcoin went from like 7K to 5K in like 5 minutes, and I just rolled my, I was like, oh fuck, Bitcoin's being Bitcoin again, you know, like the panic is removed. And people ask me, how do I remove the panic from my analysis? And a big part of it is actually, I just trade with a lot less money, and that makes me so much more level-headed, because even if I lose half my money now, it's, well, now it's gonna be a little bit of a, you know, now Bitcoin's gone up to fucking $55,000. So if I lost half my money now, I'd feel a little bit shit. But the point is, broadly speaking, in most situations, there is no room for euphoria or despair in my trades. And this is one of the first things I tell VIP members about. I talk about this inside of the welcome video when people join, and there's content on it inside of the FORFLIES Academy as well. And it's one of the big things that you see me practicing all the time inside of VIP as well. I never make space for me to experience any euphoria or despair. There is never any space for me to be super happy or super upset with my results, because my risk management is just so on point. I'm super tight with this to make sure that I keep my mentality completely on point, because if I was trading with too much money, I'd start getting nervous. But I can stomach a 50% drop in one day, because it's not actually going to be such a big drop on my net worth, and I think that's really important. What about bcash? Absolutely shit. FORFLIES, really like your analogy of price and volume to real estate in a neighborhood. I can't think of anything of any metaphor better than this. Chengpin, thank you very much. And yes, I think it's very representative. There are actually, yeah, a lot of people who artificially inflate the prices of things like this, purely using the same strategy I showed you, where if there are, like I said, if there are 1,000 houses in a neighborhood and only 5 of them have been sold last year, each of them at absolutely exorbitant prices, it doesn't mean that the rest of those houses are worth the same amount of money, even if they're exactly the same houses, same backyard space, same bedroom, same bathroom. Just because 5 were sold at absolutely exorbitant prices, it doesn't mean that the rest of them are worth that much money. But that's what you think if you don't go deeper than the actual price. And fortunately, we can go deeper than the actual price, because we can see the volume, and we can see that, similar to this 5 out of 1,000 analogy, there's not many Bitcoins that are being sold, right? It's just that there are no sellers in the market, and so that's why we're able to easily. When will this bull run end? When will this bull run end? Some people think bubble is already here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we were in a bubble right now, but I can't say when this bull run will end. We only crossed the previous all-time high like 2 months ago, so I think that there's a lot more space for this bull run to carry on, just because in terms of time frames, they usually last a lot longer than 2 months after breaking the all-time high, so maybe even a year. That sounds pretty crazy to me. I have no idea. I'm not even trying to make a prediction, but if it happens, it happens. I don't know. What if more corpos buy like Tesla? Yeah, if more corporations buy like Tesla did, then I think just their announcements will make it more bullish. But you know, again, you know, players with big money, they don't just market buy an asset when it's at an all-time high and it's exponentially rising up. This is not where smart money buys, and smart money is typically big money, because you can't, you know, like, big money cannot become big if it wasn't smart, and smart money doesn't buy at levels like this. I mean, this is just stupid. Come on, you know, you really think smart people are buying at this? Come on. One day I want to sit in a chair face to face with somebody else who genuinely thinks that smart people buy at these kind of levels. I just want to sit face to face with that person and record a podcast with that person, and we're just going to debate. And I don't know, like, at the end of it, we might start hating each other, but I really want to know what someone who believes that thinks. Maybe they have a point. Maybe. I'm going to go into it with an open mind, but, you know, come on. Are exchanges running out of Bitcoin? I have no idea. It's not necessarily that exchanges run out of Bitcoin, because exchanges are peer-to-peer, just with a third party. FORFLIES Legend, thank you very much. Guys, destroy the like button. Thank you, CG. Phil, smash the likes. Thank you very much. Smash up those likes if you are enjoying this live stream today. I certainly am. I think this one's pretty good. I think they're all pretty good, but I think this one's pretty special as well. Someone asking me to look at Ethereum. I will do so soon. I'm just going to go through some more questions. Litecoin Ethereum, I will not look at that. Can we expect a similar pullback to 60k? A similar pullback from 60k to 45 to 50 like what happened last time? Yeah, absolutely. This person is asking, can we go up here and then pull back to something like this? No. Can we go up here and then pull back to something like this, is what the person is asking, and then rise on higher? Absolutely, I think that's possible. 100%. I think that's very possible. However, I think it's less likely because we've crossed the big psychological resistance at 50k. So I think it's going to take a lot in order to make Bitcoin drop below this level. And if we did drop below this level, I think we'd actually go down to 42k, because there's no good support at all between this blue line and this red line. If we fall below, guys, write this down somewhere right now. FORFLIES, it's the 20th of February here in Dubai. It's 19th of February wherever you are, if you're in the West. FORFLIES right now, I'm going on record. If Bitcoin falls below 50, I think it's going right down to 42. I'm just saying it right now. I have a super high level of confidence in this. So if it happens, you can go back to your little notebook where you said that FORFLIES wrote, where you wrote down that FORFLIES said this on a live stream, on the record, and you'll see that I was correct. If we fall below this level, I think we're going right down to this one, because there is no support that we established in this range. If we zoom in a little bit further, we look at the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin just didn't trade sideways anywhere. The whole time, Bitcoin was trading up in that rising wedge. Remember that rising wedge that I showed you right here on this chart? Wait for it to load for a second. This rising wedge, Bitcoin didn't trade sideways anywhere. So if we zoom out to something like 8 hours or even 12 hours, we'll see that Bitcoin just didn't have a chance to establish any support between these important levels. And I think that that absolutely means between this blue and this red line, I think that absolutely means that Bitcoin could just fall right back down to this line if we do end up falling below 50k. FORFLIES, do you trade perpetual futures with USD, or do you take profits in Bitcoin? I take profits in Bitcoin and I keep them in Bitcoin. Dinesh, man, I wish I had half your brain. I will be a very happy man. You'd be surprised, man. I'm a lot more stupid. Ask any of, if you ever get a chance to ask my friends in real life, I'm usually the idiot in the group. I'm really stupid, but look, this is something that I've been doing for years, and crucially, it's not necessarily that I'm smarter than the next guy. It's just that I paid attention and I actually put the time in to learn this. I was learning from mistakes. I just start to spot patterns. I have a bloody amazing team behind me, like the best team ever. I love them all to bits. I can't even like think of ways to reward them for how good they are and how much they support me and what I do. And I think that's a big part of it too, which gives me an unfair advantage over the next guy. But obviously it's trading. Like, obviously I want the unfair advantage. I want more unfair advantages. But, you know, like I dropped out of high school and It's not like I have a super high IQ or, you know, like I was a straight A student. I mean, I was when I was younger, but towards the end, I was like a D grade student. You know, like I wasn't super smart. So this is achievable for everybody. You know, you just gotta pay attention and put all the excitement in the back seat. You know, like obviously you want to become a millionaire and you want the fucking Ferrari and shit like that, but when you're trading, you don't worry about the Ferrari. You don't worry about the fact that you want a Lambo. You just worry about trading properly, and then the other stuff will come. And I think that's really important. Lucas, keeping it honest, LMAO. I like it. You're very, very welcome, man. Glad you like it. That's a financial advice question, so I'm not going to answer it. FORFLIES, but what about the institutions that buy at these levels? Aren't they smart money? Yeah, already covered that. FORFLIES, I bought at 36k at the start of February and sold today at 55k. Thank you for your content. Cole, that is a beautiful profit. Congratulations to you. You bought at 36k, 36, sold over here. Bam, 50% profit. 100 grand turned into 150 grand. 10 grand turned into 15. Huge congratulations. Good stuff there, Cole. I'm really, really happy for you. I'm really happy for you. Please keep trading safely. That's so cool. That is so cool. Albert, I fixed my bike there. Can Ethereum get to $1,500 anytime soon? Soon? I don't think so. I don't think that's likely. I think it's possible, but not now. FORFLIES, what do I think about Polkadot? No opinions. Am I in Dubai? Yes, I am. I do live in Dubai. I've been living here for many months now. Burj Khalifa behind me. You guys know how much I love pointing that out. FORFLIES, how can Bitcoin have such a big drop when so many will start buying the dip as soon as it starts? I watch you every day. Austin, good question. It is that in a normal situation when there is no reason to panic, people will buy Bitcoin when it dips, right? Look at this. Look at how much people buy it when it dips. But when there is reason to panic, that strong intention to want to buy, it doesn't really hit the market because people are panicking. And so what I'm talking about is, yeah, like in a normal market, in a healthy market that's just trending upwards, people will, you know, and I said this while it was happening, you know, like these dips are getting bought back up really aggressively, which to me was a sign that we'd end up breaking up very, very quickly. That typically does happen when we end up moving up. But, you know, these drawbacks, they didn't happen because of a big bearish news article or anything. This was just standard price fluctuations. And so I think that, you know, like the next time that I described when the market crashes, that's something that's a lot more like, I suppose, yeah, just kind of market manipulation, big news articles coming out, things like that. That's where, you know, people start panicking. And, you know, a similar instance as well, sometimes the dips don't get bought. And let me show you an example in just a second when this loads up. You know, right here, that Tesla pump, this was an example where the dip didn't get bought back up and actually Bitcoin dropped quite a bit, you know. So over here, look, we triggered this big cascading waterfall. I'm sure there was some bearish news on this day, but in fact, can I find it? Let me just see if I can. 10th of January 2021. Let's just see Bitcoin crash. Let's just see, was there anything interesting that happened? I don't know. Custom range between the 10th of January and the 11th of January. What were the news articles? This is what I'm interested in. Worst crash since March. Brits warned about crypto risk. Okay, so there was some government fear, uncertainty, doubt being spreaded here. There were a lot of liquidations. Is anyone talking about the reasons for this? People are talking. Mark Cuban. Oh, there you go. So a very, very prominent figure in the financial space says crypto trade is exactly like the internet stock bubble. Oh, but thinks Bitcoin can survive. Actually, that's a pretty good thing. So it looks like the only thing that really looked bad for Bitcoin was government interference, because the FCA can go fuck themselves. So can the entire British government. I hope you're watching right now. I hate you all. No, some of you are fine actually, but yeah, I'm just trying to look. Nothing significant on the news. So and the dips didn't get bought back up. So this was just a classic case of just organic panic, really. Organic panic, huh? That should be a t-shirt. You guys are welcome. If any of you take that opportunity to make a t-shirt, go ahead. I want some credit for that. I want 20% of your profits. Ah, Drew, I work at Halford. Shout out to Drew. Are you considered an essential worker? There are great videos in VIP on risk management. I think there may be some if you search. Yeah. So you can find risk management content everywhere on the internet. But if you want to hear the content that I've got inside of VIP and stuff like that, then once again, the steps to join VIP and get the information on what we offer are on screen right now. I can see that my assistant has been speaking to you guys as this live stream has been going on. Shout out to the one guy who's just been enrolled in VIP or is about to be enrolled in VIP. Congratulations to you. Very, very excited. I'm seeing some talk about $69,420 as being a potential top for Bitcoin, and I think that does make a lot of sense just because it's a funny number. Broadly speaking, I don't think it's going to be too big for Bitcoin to beat, but I think absolutely that people are just going to start selling at that number because it's funny. It would make a lot of sense. Elon Musk probably tweet about it as something as well. Just going through some more of your questions. I'll get back to Ethereum and then wrap up the stream. Do I keep my assets in Bitcoin or USDT? Bitcoin. Always Bitcoin. How do I protect against the fall? I just take profits on the way up, man. I secure profits on the way up, and I'm super happy to do that. What about Swissborg? Good question. Let's get to Swissborg a little bit later. It is actually possible to turn $100 into 1 million, but it takes something that most don't have, which is patience, confidence, composure, self-control, discipline, and most importantly, time. There you go. That's a very, very level-headed comment from CJ War. I think a lot of you would benefit from. I'm just gonna paste this back in the comments section. If any of you want to frame this, like if you want to print this and frame it on your fridge or something, I think a lot of you would benefit from reading that every day when you wake up. Just as like an affirmation. I think that's game changing. It is possible to turn crazy sums of money, very small sums of money, into crazy sums. It just takes, as you said, patience, confidence, composure, self-control, discipline, and time, most importantly. Most people, they just can't stick with that, and it's not easy. Not at all. Tesla bought at 30 to 35k, and when did they announce it? Like 37k, right? So, I mean, they were obviously accumulating, and they accumulate. By the way, Tesla is what I would consider smart money. Let's look at this real quick. 35 to 30k was this box. So this was exactly the accumulation range where Bitcoin was trading sideways and then triggered a big rally up by about 50%. So come on, you think Tesla is dumb money? Get the fuck out of here. Tesla accumulated right at the bottom. Smart people, big money, they don't buy at levels like this. They buy at accumulation levels when most of us, including even people like me, think that the market is going to keep on crashing. And that's really important in my opinion. Is $42,000 the lowest you think it could possibly go down to? It's one of the strongest support areas I see for Bitcoin. I would start getting surprised if we dropped below this level, but I think that there's a lot more support. So I don't think it's the lowest that Bitcoin can go, but I definitely think that it should be a strong bounce zone. So at worst, it should mean that Bitcoin ends up pumping up quite well, or at least just a little bit by a couple $1,000s and then keep on trading lower at worst. I don't think we're just going to plummet straight below this level. I think that this level will be important as support at the very worst. And then at best, this is the level that the market goes up to, like 100k from. Can I explain the psychological line you were talking about? No, because I don't know which line. If it's $50,000, the reason it's psychological, in my opinion, is just because it's a big round number. What are my top 3 altcoins? Ethereum, Cardano, Link, probably to trade. To trade Ethereum, Cardano, and yeah, it's probably it. Yeah, those are the only 2 altcoins I like to trade, to be honest. Link is pretty good, but it's dangerous. Link is super dangerous. FORFLIES, do I ever sell Bitcoin aiming to buy at a lower price? No, not really, because I make a lot of Bitcoin just from trading and stuff, and obviously VIP and different things like that. Carl the Moon predicts a 60% correction. I don't think that's realistic. What's your thoughts? 60% from here is $20,000. The fact that it would put us at $20,000, I think, does make it a little bit realistic. But I don't think we're getting a correction like that. I don't know. I couldn't say. Obviously, it would be very, very good support over here. The final, by the way, someone asked me. I can't say her name. Kasumi. Is 42k the lowest I think Bitcoin could possibly go down to? No, I think 20k is the lowest Bitcoin can go down to. If Bitcoin goes below 20k, I will panic. But until and unless that happens, Bitcoin is in a super healthy place, in my opinion. Anything above 20k, even all the way down to like 19.5, in my opinion, is pretty golden for Bitcoin. I won't actually be super bearish on it until and unless that happens. FORFLIES, the only reason to buy at this level is if you're on leverage and seeking small gains for long-term growth. That's exactly what I'm doing, yeah. That's the only reason I bought at this level. It's because I bought it on leverage. So it wasn't even like a buy for investment. It was a trade. Bitcoin will crash as always did. There's no future for Bitcoin unless it gets fully regulated. Okay, that's a pretty extreme comment, but yeah. Yeah, man, you're honest. Let's face it, the party will be over one day, not that far away from now, and a lot of people will lose a lot of money. 100%. 100%. Most of the people making money right now are going to lose most of it. 100%. Most of them will probably be worse off than when they started. I am super confident about that. It's always that way. Thank you all for hitting the like button so far, by the way. If you haven't already, please do smash it up if you found any of this interesting or useful. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've been growing really fast, and like I said, if you've just been tuning into this channel just for the past few days, you would have gained access to some very, very important insights that turn out to be 100% correct. So if you haven't already subscribed, then you are missing out on that content. You're making a catastrophic mistake. Please do go ahead and subscribe, and you won't be able to, and then you'll slightly prevent yourself from missing out on the content in the future. If you join our free Telegram channel by clicking on the first link in the description down below, that'll take you to a place where you will actually properly get notified of these live streams and different things like that as we go on. I think that's, yeah, it's pretty important. Where do I see the graph? This website I'm using is tradingview.com, and there is a link to it in the description. Carl Moon predicts, okay, I already answered that. XRP lawsuit news was roughly what is that word? Contemporaneous? What does contemporaneous mean? What? Now you can tell I dropped out of high school. Existing at or occurring in the same period of time. Okay. It's a super interesting word. The double spent Tether FUD Russia ban. Okay, so these are the reasons that Bitcoin saw a crash. There was just various pieces of bearish news, and they all kind of hit the market at the same time, which is super normal. Happens all the time. Elon Musk will eventually sell everything. He himself is known for pumping stuff, but then stocks going down. Interesting observation. I don't agree or disagree. This guy has rapist glasses? Really? These are rapists? These are Porsche design. If Elon comes out and says he's changed his mind about Bitcoin, it'll get ugly. All it takes is a tweet. Crypto strategy, that's a really important comment you just highlighted there, which highlights the fragility of Bitcoin. You know, right now everyone loves Bitcoin, so it looks really, really good. But, you know, this goes back to the point where I said the only reason people are buying Bitcoin right now and the only reason people are not selling Bitcoin right now is because it's going up. And as soon as it starts crashing, people who want to sell will now have a reason to sell because their reason to not sell is gone. And people who were buying will not have a reason to buy anymore because it's not rising anymore. And so Bitcoin in a market situation like this is extremely fragile. And we know this. We have known this for a long time. And that's why we got a big 28% crash in like 4 days previously in this exact market cycle. Because the market is super fragile. And yes, all it takes is a tweet, for example. FORFLIES, I would like to trade for a living, but I'm concerned about revenue. Can I offset gains with losses, and do I pay income tax or capital gains? Capital gains tax for this, but talk to a professional, and it varies depending on your country. Is there going to be a retracement? And I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball, although I think that we are quite likely to get a retracement next month. It just sounds right in terms of, I mean, a month is a long time, right? A month is a really long time in this market. So, yeah, I think it's entirely possible, but I don't know. Cardano or Link, I will look at them both in just a minute. I just want to finish off these questions, then I'll get back to the analysis, and then I'll probably head off. We don't have a lot of price structure above 40k. Do we need it? Yes, we do. Doesn't it matter, or does it not matter in a parabolic market? No, it does matter, because when and if we crash down, there is no support until like $30,000. So, or 35. So yeah, we do need it, and we don't have it, and that's why I think that if we crash below this blue line, we'll fall right back down to this red line. I think it's going to be a very quick crash, because the rise up was very quick, and we didn't establish any support. You know, we didn't have any resistance on the way up, so we don't have a chance to find support on the way down. Any thoughts on Hive? Nope, no thoughts, sorry. If it is a mining stock, this person mentioned it's a mining stock. If it's a mining stock and it's mining Bitcoin, anything associated with Bitcoin right now I would be bullish on, just because it's got Bitcoin in the name. How do I get started with leverage Bitcoin? That is a question to Google, although if you want to learn it from me, then you can follow these steps on screen and ask me the same question again, and my assistant will give you the information on our content that we've got on how to learn how to use those tools in exactly the way I do it from start to finish. I started with nothing and I'm buying a house. Bloody hell, congratulations, mate. That is so cool. I'm so happy for you. Oh, there's a lot of questions nearly at the bottom of the list. Do I see a correction at 57k? Yes, I think that would make a lot of sense because it's close to 60. Although we're getting a correction right now, so we're having a time-based correction right now. If we zoom in to kind of like 5 minutes, we've got a price-based correction, only a small one, and a bit of a time-based correction right now. So if we got one here, we might not get one later. FORFLIES, I just saw him show a pullback. Are you talking about 2017 crash to 48? I don't understand your question, sorry. 42, I don't understand your question. FORFLIES, we see you as a trade-safe mentor. Please consider add a warning danger to your affiliated Prime XBT link. Prime XBT only does cross-margin at fixed 100x, which is very, very risky. No, they don't. No, they don't. They definitely don't. And I have risk disclaimers everywhere. So at this point, it's on you guys. Government will force exchanges to prevent withdrawals, and then they will be taxed or banned. Will it make sense? Yes. It's a good thing that most of these exchanges are not in jurisdictions of government who would do that. Where am I from, FORFLIES? I'm from London, and yes, I now live in Dubai. What are my thoughts on Bitcoin price short-term 1 hour time frame? I think it's just going to recover and keep going up. Do I think there is much correlation between DXY and Bitcoin? Let's see what the dollar is doing right now. Dollar is pretty much sideways, I think. Oh, it's gone up a little bit. Super interesting. Bitcoin keeps rising while the dollar is rising. I don't really know what to say about this right now. Oh, sorry, this is 5 minute time frames. Hang on. What is the trend? Okay, so dollar has actually gone down. This is more like it. This makes more sense. If the dollar is going down, I would expect Bitcoin to go up. All right, we're at the bottom of the comments. FORFLIES, do you think high inflation numbers has a negative influence on Bitcoin or positive? Definitely positive, 100%. And there's a lot of inflation. I think that's one of the biggest reasons that Bitcoin has gone up so much in the past year. It's the fact that inflation has been bloody crazy. 35% of all US dollars were printed last year. Crazy. And I think it's already this year, it's already like another 20%. Bloody insane, the level of inflation. I mean, you know, it's only a few steps behind Germany right after World War I on the exponential scale. Obviously on a linear scale, you know, this USD inflation is nowhere close to the German, whatever currency Germans had back then. But what was that currency that Germans had after the First World War? I don't know. Anyway, was it ruble? It wasn't rubles. Russians have rubles. I don't know. But on the exponential scale, and this is an exponential activity, this kind of inflation. So this works on exponential scales. On the exponential scale, the USD is not, the US dollar is not far behind the German, you know, it's like only a few bad decisions behind the German currency. And now you've got a Democrat government. So Deutsche Mark. Deutsche Mark, did I say that correctly? Yeah, I've never heard that name before. I'm surprised they didn't teach us that in school. Mark, okay, interesting. FORFLIES, I'm asking this whole conversation about negative media, about panic mode, is you talking about pullback or start of a bear market? No, I'm just talking about a pullback. I don't think we're getting a bear market anytime soon. Anyway, let me go back to my core analysis now. Let me look at Ethereum for you. Actually, I've already looked at Ethereum, to be fair. I just think Ethereum is going to pump up very nicely when Bitcoin stops moving up so much, because Bitcoin right now has all the spotlight, so everyone wants to put their money in Bitcoin. As soon as that changes, I think that money will go back into Ethereum and different altcoins. Similar picture for Cardano. It's down against Bitcoin today, but it's still in this big support range that I outlined for you. So if it does fall below the support range, and I talked about this in the last video, I'm not going to talk about it again because now I'm hungry because I've been talking for an hour and a half. But if we do fall below this support level, I think it's going to go very low, maybe like another minus 20% or something, which to be fair is not very low, but I think it'll drop by a substantial amount again. However, if we keep this floor, then I think there's a lot of potential to rise up higher again. I think, a lot of it does just depend on where Bitcoin goes. What else? Link. Somebody else asked me to look at Link. And Link, oh wow, look at that. Link pumped out of its rising and falling wedge. Look, didn't FORFLIES tell you this in the last video? Look at this. This is so accurate. This analysis was so accurate. We pumped out of that falling wedge very, very nicely. It was the Weimar Republic of 1929. Was that the name of Germany back then? Anyway, yeah, Link doing pretty well. Potentially setting a double top, so that's something to keep an eye on. It might end up dumping lower again. However, if it does, I would expect to find support around $31, which is where it previously set an all-time high and where it bounced off very recently. Let's see where some of the support is on the Ichimoku cloud. 1 hour Ichimoku cloud is not reliable. 4 hour Ichimoku cloud is very reliable, and it falls at the $31 level. So I think that there's a lot of support to find at this area. Let's see where the exponential moving averages are as well. Not very reliable on the 4 hour. On the 1 day, showing us some support. Yeah, look, there's just a lot of support for Link. Yeah, I'm not sure how sustainable this is. I actually, for some reason, I feel like Link could get a big drop, like a big one down to like $20. I don't know why I get that feeling. Something gives me that feeling. I don't analyze Link enough to form a good opinion on it though. What coins do I hold? Yeah, not very many. Actually, somebody asked me about Swissborg. I want to take a look at Swissborg. It's got an absolutely destroyed. I say absolutely destroyed. It's only down by 4%, but this is pretty rare for Swissborg. It doesn't generally retrace by much, but just today it ended up falling down to 71 cents and now made a very, very nice recovery. Like I said, I mean, it's got these kind of sideways ranges like I'm showing you with this green box right here, and it typically doesn't fluctuate out of these boxes much. So it has dipped down it before, below it now. I think that just means if you're interested in, if I was interested in trading ranges like this from this low up to this kind of high area, which right now is a pretty good swing. That's like a 10%, more than 10% swing. I think it looks pretty healthy for that. But broadly speaking, I'm not too concerned about it at all. For me, Swissborg is a very fundamental asset to analyze, and fundamentally they're extremely strong. So, in my opinion, so I think that yeah, 100% it's going to recover and shoot up. I think it's just a case of, look, they deliberately told me they're they're withholding news announcements right now because the price has gone up so much, and the fact that they're doing that is allowing Swissborg to correct until they make the next news announcement, which is going to happen next month if I'm not mistaken, in March. And there is a new product coming out. I can't tell you what it is. I think I already know what it is, although my memory is not very good on this topic, so I might have forgotten. But if it is what I think it is, then it's going to be pretty good, pretty impressive. And the last time that we had something similar, it triggered a 3 times increase in 2 weeks. So I think that's pretty impressive. And if you want to buy this token, if you want to find out about it, there's a little bit more than just an exciting token. There's a lot more that goes on behind it, and they've got my stamp of approval, and you know how critical I am of these things. I do work with them, and I do have a sponsorship with. I don't even think it's called a sponsorship. We do work together, and so I do have that vested interest in them. But I've personally invested a lot of money in them, and you know how much I rip at shit coins, right? So if I'm giving this my green light, it's definitely passed some pretty stringent bullshit tests on my part. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's obviously it's already 3x'd my money, so you know, how would I not be happy? There's a link in the description if you want to get access to the app. Please like the video as we go on, guys. I am going to be wrapping this up very soon. I will also want to mention once again, if you want to find out where to trade, you're looking for a place to trade, then Phemex is great. There's no KYC required. However, if you're in a place like the United States, you will still need a VPN. Some people have said they don't use a VPN and they're from the United States, so maybe you can, but I wouldn't risk it. Obviously, also, I can't recommend you to do that. That's on you if you decide to do it, but you can trade with 0 fees if you've got a premium plan. It's a great exchange. They have a lot less downtime than Binance. A lot of you guys today were talking about the fact that Binance was down. Phemex doesn't go down as much as Binance. Everything goes down, but Phemex handles it pretty well in my opinion, and there's a lot of different markets you can trade. Polkadot, I know this is going to excite a lot of you. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Uni, Link, Cardano. I've got Litecoin, Gold, bcash, YFI, XRP. Actually, it's suspended now. Never mind. These are all leverage trading, so there's a lot that you can trade on leverage here. And if you want my tutorial on how to use Phemex, then you can find it by searching this into YouTube. This is one of the 3 main exchanges that I use. Actually, the 2 main. The other main one that I use is Bybit. The links to both are in the description. If you want the Phemex tutorial, type this into YouTube. If you want the Bybit tutorial, type this into YouTube. Again, these are tutorials and explanations that are part of our FORFLIES Academy course, and these are quite a simple. These are quite simple examples of what you find inside of our course, which is good because we cover the simple stuff too. But inside of our FORFLIES courses, we also go into much more advanced theories, and the beauty of it, having it in conjunction with a VIP membership, is you get to learn everything that I know, everything that I do in the market. You get to learn why I do it, how I do it. But when you're in VIP, you get to watch me implement those same strategies. So on one side, you learn them, you find out what they are, you understand everything that goes underneath them and how they work, how these mechanics work. And then in VIP, you watch me implement it. So you get the theory and the practical all at the same time, which is an extremely, extremely powerful combination. This is the package, what I'm describing right now, that one of our members was able to turn into a millionaire from. He started off with $30,000 in March last year, and January this year he turned into a millionaire from crypto. 30K turned into $1 million. Very, very impressive gain right there. This guy, super busy. You know, has 6 businesses that he runs internationally, even has a girlfriend. So he's got social life, he's got his business life, and he was still able to do very, very well in trading, because it doesn't require, like, good trading doesn't require a lot of time. I really keep on hitting that point home. You're going to see it inside of VIP. I regularly get complimented about this inside of VIP. In fact, I just got it like today from a member. Let me see if I can find her message. What did she say here? I'm very thankful for your composure and willpower in trading. I guess I'm overzealous of the next trade, no pressure. So, you know, a lot of the time VIP members will comment on the fact that I have a lot of patience and that I just don't do things when other people are getting very trigger happy, because it doesn't actually require a lot of time to invest in the game. I just jump in the market when I see a safe opportunity. That's exactly what I saw today, and I'm already getting paid for it, something like a 50% profit. So if you want to find out how to join VIP, you want to watch all of this stuff happening in real time, just get the information. These steps, if you've sat through a 1.5 hour live stream, if you've only tuned in for like 7 minutes of it or whatever, these steps will take you about 30 seconds, less than that. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on send message. The prices are at the lowest they've ever been because Bitcoin is so high right now, and we keep on improving the service. So you're going to be paying less, but you're going to be getting a lot more, and I love that combination. So we have a lot of content planned to upgrade the courses, both courses, to have a little bit more content for a bull market like what we're in right now. And if that sounds interesting to you, then you're going to get those free upgrades even if you get in now, you know. So I'll record the content, we'll publish it over the next few weeks. You will get that free content So you will get that content for free when we upgrade it. But people who join afterwards, they will be getting in at higher prices, because the more content we add in, the more valuable the course becomes, the more we charge for it. So we've done that before with VIP and different things like that, and we will be doing it with our courses. So if you want to get in now while you can get the courses for free with your VIP membership, then once again, now is the time, and you'll keep on getting those upgrades to them, including to your VIP membership as well. There's a lot going on. Like I said, we just hired someone new 2.5 weeks ago. She's doing absolutely great. It's super, super exciting. I'm already starting to think we might need someone else on the team to help her out. So I don't know, maybe I'm just getting excited now because our team is really cool and I like working with them. But I am starting to think that it's time to bring another pair of hands on board pretty soon. Why Dubai? The taxes, the weather, the politics, the fact that they make it easy to do business, the culture. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I have a Ferrari here in Dubai, so, you know, I want to be where my Ferrari is because it's a fun car. Alright guys, I'm going to be heading off pretty soon. I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. If we have any final questions, please drop them in the comments. As usual, I promise to answer them all. Do I think institutions will soon realize Ethereum is more useful of a currency instead of Bitcoin? Yes. Yes, I do. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited. FORFLIES, I have a hard time seeing Bitcoin going further than $100,000. Well, I had a hard time seeing Bitcoin going further than 20,000, but here we are. So it doesn't really matter. At least not if the all-time high is in the next 4 to 5 months, according to different indicators. I don't have thoughts on this. Speculating on these things, in my opinion, is a waste of time. If we get there, I will long it. If we don't get there, I will short it. Simple. I should say, I did expect Bitcoin to fly past 20k when we got near it, but a few years ago, I wouldn't have said much about it with a lot of confidence. And JR Jr., if you like Swissborg, PLU, Plutus is another same type project from the UK. Yes, they are. They're pretty good. I'm actually working with them too, and I've spoken about them in the past. Yeah, they're also pretty good. The reason I like Swissborg is they're regulated in Switzerland, which to me is a little bit more impressive than the UK. And Swissborg actually has more interesting products as far as I'm concerned, and I think the token price reflects that. If we look at Plu, how has Plu been growing? I mean, liquidity is terrible, but that's fine. I wouldn't expect it to be very high. Yeah, actually, to be fair, Plu has done really well as well in this kind of time frame. So both doing pretty well. FORFLIES, do you think COVID passing will have any influence on crypto BTC prices? No, not really. COVID isn't just gonna pass like that though. I think it's pretty. I don't know. Dubai has streets of gold. Does it? I don't know. I haven't seen them. I'm not sure what you mean. It is tax friendly? Brother, there is no tax. There's 5% VAT only on sales that you make inside of the UAE, inside of the United Arab Emirates. There is no tax. Although the fees are very high. So they get you where, obviously it's a bit of a lie. So first of all, the speed cameras fucking everywhere. Like everywhere. And I've had a really big problem with them. Right when I first got the Ferrari, the police tried to impound the car. Oh, that's another thing. Like, I came from the West where no one will touch your property and shit. Over here, it's a little bit different. The police tried to impound my car because I was speeding so much. To be fair, I'm 19. What the fuck do you expect? But yeah, there's a lot of speed cameras here, and that's one of the ways they make money. And also just the general fees. You know, to start up a business in the UK, it might cost you like £50, and over here it cost me, I don't know, maybe like £10,000 to put that into perspective. I don't even remember how much it costed me. It was somewhere between like £5,000 to £15,000, whereas in the UK it cost me like £50. So the fees for doing basic things are extremely high, but because of that, they don't charge you taxes based on your income. So you know, it's good and it's bad in some ways. I think it's overall pretty good, obviously, because the thing about it is the fact that they don't tax income the way the West does. They attract a lot more talent, and right now we see that because almost all the major crypto YouTubers right now are here in Dubai, and not almost all, but a lot of them are. You know, like the highest proportion of them are here in Dubai, other than maybe America, and I think that's, yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, these guys, me and the Moon, we just moved here, you know, the past few months. You know, I mean, I've been here quite a while now, but yeah, I mean, we came recently, you know, and here I am now hiring a staff member, considering hiring a second staff member. This could have been someone in the UK who needed a job, but no, it's someone in the UAE because they've attracted talent, and now talent is hiring. So it's a pretty good system. Phil, FORFLIES, just say the word, I'll book a flight over. Phil, 100% you're invited. DM me on Telegram, we'll talk about it. 100%. Come anytime, bro. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Cheers for the great live stream. You're very, very welcome. I don't have a next price target for Bitcoin. You keep on asking. I don't have one. I never have price targets for Bitcoin. 60k maybe, but I think we could just go right past that. What is one stock you think is going to rise fast this year, like Tesla? Boeing. Where is Boeing? Maybe not this year, but next year potentially. I see a lot of potential for Boeing. A lot of potential. Where was Boeing at the all-time high? More than double where it is right now. 100%. I think Boeing will do pretty well. Boeing is such an obvious buy right now, in my opinion. Such an obvious buy. I mean, come on. Like, don't you think that the travel industry will recover eventually? Maybe in like a few years. Come on. I think it's such an obvious buy. Someone's asking what's required to join VIP. Nothing. It's just a payment. So if you want to join, then you can follow these steps on screen. We'll give you the information on it. What point will I close my Bitcoin position? So I've already started taking profits on it, but I don't want to talk about that right now because that's a very long question to answer. And actually, I will. I'm too tired to answer that question right now. It's nearly 1 a.m. here. Please tell me why Ethereum is acting like a stable coin. Was that a joke? I don't know. It's just all the attention's on Bitcoin right now, I guess. What are the reasons you picked to live in Dubai? So yeah, like I said, man, it's the taxes, it's the politics, it's the weather, the culture. That's probably it. But probably bigger than that is the fact that the UK is so fucked. I made the decision to leave the UK and come here inside of like 2 months. It was a very, very quick thing for me, just like Joe Rogan moving from Cali to Texas. What is a single man's chance of finding a woman in Dubai if he is not a billionaire? Even, are you a millionaire? You don't have to be a billionaire, but are you a millionaire? And at that, do you have any money? Like, and any significant, you know, if you wanted to, could you go to a fancy restaurant right now and pay like $1,000 bill? If you can answer yes to that, then, well, to be fair, you'll get a gold digger, but I mean, what do you expect it's to buy? Elon tweeted. Doge is pumping Elon tweet. Everyone's excited by Elon Musk's tweet right now. Is that why Bitcoin is mooning? Because Elon Musk changed his profile picture? I don't know. But yeah, any hot girls, man, Dubai is full of, it's crazy. You wouldn't expect it. Actually, you probably should expect it. It's Dubai. But yeah, much more than, it's like, yeah, I mean, you just need to come here and see. Everyone needs to come to Dubai. It's like a super safe place. Why would you not come, you know? Like, just come once. But only rich guys get laid in Dubai. No, but it makes it very easy because Dubai is extremely materialistic. So if you have money, it makes it very easy. Yeah, you just gotta come here and check it out. Just go to a beach or something, or like a hotel where, you know, I don't need to give you guys dating advice. You can figure this out. I've heard there's skiing in Dubai. Yes, there is, in the Mall of the Emirates. Mall of the Emirates is I think the second biggest mall here, and Or is it in Dubai Mall? No, I think it's in Mall of the Emirates. They have an indoor ski rink. Don't tell me you're tired. You'll be jumping in your Lambo after this, and then who knows? No, I'll be jumping in my Ferrari. Thank you very much. Are flats expensive? No, if you don't want to splash out, if you don't want to flex, then actually living here is pretty cheap compared to any major European country. Sorry, any major European city. It's pretty cheap, I'd say. You can get rent and stuff like that for like 3-4k a month, probably dirham, which is what, like £800 a month. I think that's pretty reasonable. Get like a decent flat for that kind of money. Burj Khalifa, by the way, behind me. If you're curious, Burj Khalifa behind me, a 1-bedroom apartment. Get it for like 1.5-2 grand GBP per month. What is that, like $2,000 to $2,500 per month in the Burj Khalifa? But the tallest building in the fucking world, a 1-bedroom apartment to rent between $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Crazy. Like, absolutely. I would have expected it to be like 5 times that price, but no, it's dirt cheap. Why not a Lambo? Because Lambos are like cheat codes, you know, it's 4-wheel drive, it's supposed to make you feel like you can do anything. There is no challenge, there is no rear-wheel drive challenge in a Lambo. You just fucking, you go in and out, you do whatever the hell you like. I watch my friends driving Lambos, I'm thinking, you guys, you don't even know what fun driving is. Yeah, Dubai is cheaper than North and West Europe, 100% cheaper, 100%. Because this is the thing, you know, like sometimes I eat big and stuff like that, but for the most part, I'm pretty low-key with my lifestyle, and it's super cheap, you know, like you won't even notice the money leaving your wallet. And I think that's pretty impressive, you know, like I go, there's my favorite shawarma shop here in Dubai. Obviously I love shawarma because it's amazing. It's, if you don't know, it's like every culture has their own style of like a wrap with meat inside. This is the Arab one, shawarma. My favorite shawarma shop here, it costs like 50 pence to £1 each. It's crazy cheap for a meal. For a meal, it's, I don't like, it's crazy. How about students? How is it there for students? Not very good for students here. There are better places to be a student. Although overall it's a great place to be, so. Lots of big criminals in Dubai, yes there are. Ridwan Taghi just got arrested. Who is that? Not nice people. He was hiding there too. Yeah, a lot of, obviously, anywhere, any major city, there's a lot of criminals. You're not getting away from that. There's a lot in London. There must be way more in London. Can you pay restaurants with crypto? I don't think so. If you ask, some might say yes, but they've got to be small. Do you have to start a business to get tax residency there? No, but I think that's the easiest way. I drive a Mark 1 UK Mazda MX-5, no ABS, no power steering, and straight 1800 engine. Great weight distribution. I love driving. I'm with you on the cheat code Lambo. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that sounds really, really fun, Phil. I'd love to visit you and swap out. You can take my 2018 Porsche, which is gonna feel like a cheat code as well, to be honest, compared to your car. I think that would be pretty cool. Must feel like a real car. That's one of the... So I have a friend who's 18. He's just made a lot of money. I told you guys about him in one of the recent live streams. And just over the past year, he went from nothing to making like 20k in profit a month. And I'm giving him advice on which first car to buy. And I'm telling him, listen, get an old car first. You know, get something before 2010 first. Because that's what a real car is. And you're not going to be able to appreciate what a real vehicle is until you've had an old one first. And you're not going to want an old one if you get a new one. So just get it done with now, and it's going to be cheaper. I think it makes a lot of sense. Alright guys, thank you all for tuning in. We're quite off topic now. It's been absolutely great. Please smash up the like button one more time if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Where are we at? 67,000 subscribers, 67.5. Thank you all for tuning in today. Steps to join VIP are on screen. If you want to trade alongside me, you got it. I'm going to get going now. I was supposed to get going like an hour ago. So this has turned into another 2-hour live stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. Have a great day. And I'll see you all in the next live stream. Thank you all very much for tuning in.